Venezuela, a country of contrasts, oil, and breathtaking nature. Venezuela is more than just a country on the map of South America. It is a land of sharp contrasts, where luxurious nature exists alongside deep social problems, and vast natural resources go hand in hand with economic hardship. It can captivate and astonish at the same time, inspire admiration, and provoke debate. For some, Venezuela is briefly all about oil, as it holds some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world. At one time, these reserves made the country one of the wealthiest in Latin America, but over time, they also became the reason for a deep economic dependence on a single resource. For others, Venezuela is associated with political crises, hyperinflation, and mass immigration, which have dominated international headlines for many years. Yet beyond the headlines, there is another Venezuela, a country of extraordinary natural beauty. It is home to Angel Falls, the highest waterfall on Earth, the endless Llanos plains, the jungles of the Amazon, the cool climate Andes, and hundreds of kilometers of Caribbean coastline with turquoise waters. It is one of the few countries in the world where, within just a few days, one can see mountains, tropical rainforest, and the ocean. Venezuela is also a country of people who, despite hardships, maintain their openness, sense of humor, and love of life. Music, dance, family traditions, and celebrations remain an essential part of everyday life. Venezuelans take pride in their culture, their historical heroes, and their national identity. The history of Venezuela is a journey from a colonial past through the struggle for independence led by Simón Bolívar to the complex challenges of the modern era. It is a story of attempts to find a balance between social justice, democracy, and economic development. Today, Venezuela stands at a crossroads. On the one hand, it faces serious internal problems. On the other, it possesses enormous potential. Natural resources, a young population, a strategic location, and rich cultural heritage give hope that the country can overcome the crisis and find a new path of development. In this video, we will try to look at Venezuela without stereotypes, to understand what it was, what it is now, and what it may become in the future. In the north of South America, and is washed by the waters of the Caribbean Sea. It borders Colombia, Brazil, and Guyana. It is one of the most naturally diverse countries on the continent. Here you can find the Andes with their cool climate, the Amazon rainforests, the vast Llanos plains, tropical islands, and even desert regions. However, the main natural pride of Venezuela is Angel Falls, the highest waterfall in the world, with a height of nearly 1,000 meters. It plunges from the top of a tabletop mountain known as a tepuy, creating a landscape that looks like something out of a fantasy film. The climate in Venezuela is predominantly tropical. There are no familiar seasons such as winter or summer. Instead, the country experiences a rainy season and a dry season. Temperatures throughout the year usually range between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius, although it can be significantly cooler in mountainous areas. Before the arrival of Europeans, the territory of present-day Venezuela was inhabited by indigenous tribes. In 1498, Christopher Columbus arrived here. Later, the country became a Spanish colony. Venezuela possesses some of the largest oil reserves in the world. In the 20th century, oil made the country one of the wealthiest in Latin America. Revenue from exports allowed the government to finance social programs, infrastructure, and education. However, excessive dependence on oil proved to be a double-edged sword. When global oil prices fell, Venezuela's economy began to collapse rapidly. Production declined, inflation soared, and shortages of basic goods became a common reality. In recent decades, Venezuela has been experiencing a deep crisis. Hyperinflation, shortages of food and medicine, and mass immigration have become everyday realities for millions of Venezuelans. Political power is concentrated in the hands of the government, which is often criticized for authoritarian practices. At the same time, the country is under international sanctions, further complicating the economic situation. According to various estimates, millions of people have left Venezuela in search of a better life in neighboring countries and overseas. At the beginning of the 19th century, Venezuela began its struggle for independence. The key figure was Simón Bolívar, a national hero who played a decisive role in freeing several South American countries from Spanish rule. Venezuela gained its independence in 1821, but stability did not come immediately. The country went through numerous coups, dictatorships, and political conflicts. At the beginning of January 2026, the United States carried out a large-scale operation in Venezuela, including airstrikes on key targets and a special operation to capture President Nicolás Maduro. The U.S. announced a successful strike and the capture of the country's leader along with his wife. Maduro was removed from Venezuela and taken to the Manhattan Federal Court in New York, where he pleaded not guilty to charges of drug trafficking and other crimes. The U.S. stated it would temporarily manage the country until the situation stabilizes. The operation sparked international criticism and was discussed at the UN Security Council due to the capture of the leader of a sovereign nation. Some countries supported the legality of the actions against Maduro's regime, while others criticized the U.S. for violating Venezuela's sovereignty. After the arrest, Vice President Delcy Rodriguez was appointed as the country's interim leader by the Venezuelan Supreme Court. she has received partial support from some international partners, as well as backing from Russia, which emphasize the importance of maintaining unity and stability. So, let's see what happens next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. There's plenty more interesting content coming your way.